Hello everyone. Recently I recalled someone mentioning that China's economic development has made significant progress over the past 5 years, and this change is quite noticeable. Thinking about this, I remembered seeing a NASA satellite image where Beijing looked like a lying turtle and Tianjin like a large bird. Between them is a place called Langfang, resembling a pearl being contested by both. This actually represents a kind of feng shui layout. The lying turtle symbolizes the black tortoise, the guardian of the north, while the large bird symbolizes the vermilion bird, the guardian of the south. The two beasts embracing the pearl represent a grand layout. Considering the popularity of previous videos about feng shui and feng shui masters, today we will continue our in-depth exploration of feng shui. China is located in the northern hemisphere, where the sun is usually in the south. So architectural design typically faces south to make full use of sunlight. In winter, cold air from Siberia comes from the northwest, so buildings with mountains to the northwest can effectively block the cold wind. At the same time, it's best to have a river in front of the building, which is called backing mountains and facing water. Why were the ancient people so particular about feng shui? Because they didn't have modern tunnel boring machines to easily dig tunnels, no antibiotics to effectively fight bacterial infections, no infrastructure projects like the south to north water diversion or the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. In ancient times, if there were no roads, you had to take detours. If a house didn't get sunlight, it would breed bacteria, making the residents sick. Without a water source, agricultural production would be severely impacted. Bad feng shui could lead to a life of misfortune or even endanger lives. The founding father of feng shui, Guopu, proposed the basic principles of feng shui. Qi rides the wind and scatters, but is retained when encountering water. The ancients collected it to prevent scattering and guided it to prevent dissipation, hence the term feng shui. This means that wind disperses qi, while water gathers it. Therefore, good feng shui is about finding a place that can gather qi. This involves 3 key elements: qi, wind, and water. First, let's talk about qi. Those who have seen Hollywood movies know that the concept of qi is not simple. Listen to these Chinese sentences: "I'm angry, what a big tone, who gave you the courage to be so arrogant?" What do these 4 qi mean? Qi in Chinese is a difficult concept to explain, similar to the philosophical question, what is consciousness? Qi appears not only in feng shui, but also in traditional Chinese medicine, literature, aesthetics, and philosophy. So, what exactly is qi, and why is it associated with specific places? Ancient people observed that water evaporates from the ground, forms clouds, and then rains, recognizing that some places seemed more suitable for living while others made people sick. Unable to explain why, they used a symbol resembling 3 lines to represent the shape of clouds, and called it qi. This qi is an invisible energy, the foundation of life. Next, let's talk about wind and water. Ancient people believed that wind disperses gathered qi, but if there are mountains to block the wind, qi won't scatter. In games like Age of Empires, mountains not only block wind, but also allow for building fortifications, making it hard for enemies to break through quickly. In real life, mountains and qi complement each other. Water is the source of life. In ancient times, if you were too far from a water source, agricultural production would be severely affected. Combining wind, mountains, and water, the ancients believed a perfect dwelling place should be black tortoise raising its head, vermilion bird dancing, azure dragon coiling on the rock, and white tiger crouching. What does this mean? This is the legendary Four Spirits land. If this were my land, and I built a house on it, then the north represents the black tortoise, which should have the highest main mountain, transitioning from high to low to the plain, like the black tortoise lowering its head. This is black tortoise raising its head. The south represents the vermilion bird, with a river best flowing from east to west, bringing cool winds in summer, like the vermilion bird flapping its wings. This is vermilion bird dancing. The east represents the azure dragon, and the west represents the white tiger. Both should have mountains but lower than the black tortoise, with a staggered height to prevent flat terrain prone to floods. This is azure dragon coiling on the rock and white tiger crouching. In this layout, surrounded by mountains on 3 sides, with abundant resources, it's easy to defend and hard to attack. The place would be warm in winter and cool in summer, with beautiful scenery that money can't buy. If someone asks, does such a place exist in reality? Although rare, they do exist. For example, Longzhong City in Sichuan is said to be a four spirits land with a history of over 2,000 years, a vacation spot for many nobles. The founding father of Feng Shui, Guopu, left a book before his ascension called Zongjing, the Book of Burial. Some may wonder why a book about choosing places for the living is called the Book of Burial. There's another book called the Book of Residence, supposedly written by the emperor. Although the Book of Burial and the Book of Residence target different customers, their principles are almost the same, both aiming to find a place that gathers qi. In other words, the principles for choosing a house for the living also apply to choosing a burial place for ancestors to bring good fortune. Guopu explained that human bones are formed by the condensation of qi, and the geographic location of a burial site connects with the qi of that place. As a descendant, there's a resonance with your ancestors' qi. If your ancestors connect with good qi, you can also feel the good qi. If the burial site is poorly chosen, and ancestors connect with bad qi, you'll also be affected. In practical application, Feng Shui is mainly divided into two schools, the Form School, represented by the Book of Burial, and the Compass School, represented by the Book of Residence. The Form School emphasizes practice is the sole criterion for testing truth. They travel across mountains and rivers, seeking Feng Shui treasures. The 5 essential skills in geography are dragon seeking, sand assessing, water observing, acupoint spotting, and direction setting. Dragon seeking means finding the starting point of a dragon vein. In legend, Kunlun Mountain is the origin of the Chinese dragon vein, but its exact location remains a mystery. Different texts have different claims, like the Classic of Mountains and Seas says it's in the northwest, Classic of the Southern Seas says it's in the southeast, Records of the World says it's in Jiuquan, Gansu, which is the Chilean mountain, and Geography Records says it's in Nanning, Guangxi. This dispute over the dragon's origin lasted until Emperor Wu of Han. When Zhang Qian reported that Xinjiang Hetian had a vast mountain full of jade, he decided this was Kunlun Mountain, and no one mentioned other claims again. Lu Bowen in Rambling on Geomancy said, the main dragon must be distinct, the subdragons should be clear. This means the main dragon is a grand, continuous mountain range, like the Qinling Mountains, the subdragons are shorter ridges. Generally, it's believed that China has 3 main dragons, the northern, central, and southern. There are also dragon veins and plains, formed by rivers called water dragons, by mountains called earth dragons, and hidden, invisible dragons. Sand refers to secondary mountains beside the dragon vein, water refers to surrounding rivers or lakes. Acupoint is the dwelling or burial site, and direction refers to facing south. Through the process of dragon seeking, sand assessing, water observing, acupoint spotting, and direction setting, a suitable place can be found.